Alright folks, here we have my finally painted Wraithknight. Man, this was a project and a half. I gotta tell you, it took me a lot of time to put him together and paint him, but I'm really happy I did, and I'm very kind of proud of it. So, this is what he looks like. Of course, as you know, I've magnetized all his weaponry, so these arms are on magnets. They come off very neatly and clip on very easily as well. And what have I done is I've done him in the exact same style as my Eldar vehicles. So if you want to know how I painted this guy, just check out my painting video for my Forge-World Wave Serpent. I used the exact same technique. So I've got that kind of grain on the model. If you can see kind of the way it is, it's kind of that dry brush technique. I do 2 dry brush layers of kind of orange and lighter red, and eventually used red ink on it. It's not focusing for some reason. But that's the technique I used on this guy. So exact same like the vehicles. I gotta tell you, I actually I kind of stressed for a little while about which method I should use on him. Should I go with the method that I did on my vehicles, where it's very meticulous, takes a long time, and the effect is very slight, so it's a lot of work for just a slight effect. But the other option is I was going to do him like my Guardians, where I just do white prime, red ink or red wash all over the whole model. And I decided to go for the vehicle style because I want him to really match the look of the vehicles, and despite the fact that he is a giant kind of Eldar Guardian, I do want him to still look like a piece of machinery, I don't want him to look like my Guardians with their kind of lighter colored, kind of cheaply, easily painted armor. Anyways, let's take a look at this guy. Let's give him a little roundabout over here. As you can see, for his shield, I've done a really simple job. That's just white with a Sermon Blue wash, or whatever the name of it is now, done over it to give the sigils. Of course, straight white done over there. A few little gems here and there done in blue for the shield. I've done lots and lots of his gems all over the body, and another decision that I made was to do a lot of his gems. I want him to really look like he's tricked out with these gems. I don't do all the gems on my vehicles and Wraithlords, but I did almost all of them on this guy. I've got the sigil back there. Pretty basic. Painting these things is actually incredibly easy. It's a lot easier than it looks because the surface is raised. You just kind of delicately brush your brush just over the raised surface and it paints it for you. So that looks like a lot of work, but actually that was very, very easy. That sigil over there. I recommend you try it out on your own Wraithknight. It's not as hard as it looks. So his sword over here, pretty awesome looking sword. I love the sort of glowing blue effect. I have that on a bunch of stuff in my army. So I continue that for his sword. I've done that for the Wraithlord swords as well. And pretty basic stuff, just flat black, flat white, with a lot of layers of the blue, a lot of layers of for the gems of green and all that. His head, I love his head. I know some people don't like the fact that he has a visor, but I actually really like it. It adds a lot to the model. Basically what I've done is, in these little recessed areas, I've just used Devlin mud. So just this little recess around here, the edges over there, this recessed area there, just Devlin mud. Just a thin little layer of Devlin mud makes it look pretty cool. Gives it kind of a Wraithbony kind of feel. And that is that. Now if you check out his base, that's just a decal over here, just a decal. On his base, what I've done is I've had him dominating my Grey Knights. So those of you that have seen my Grey Knight battle reports, you know that my Grey Knights are kind of like with a little bit of a red. I'm kind of obsessed with reds, or at least I was when I did my Grey Knights, so got a little bit of a red on there. I got the Dreadnought with there, got some writing over there, as well as some blood pouring out of the stasis chamber, or the entombment chamber of where the Grey Knight would have been before he was butchered horribly by this awesome Wraithknight. I just thought I'd add a little bit of detail to his base, and also it has the added benefit of having him stand even higher. His foot is crushing this thing beneath him. He's also standing on some rock over there. So this guy is a tall beast. He's about 10 inches tall. Pretty amazing. When you raise his sword a little bit, it goes even higher. In fact, if you've got his guns, they can zoom up all the way up to here, which I'll show you in a second. So just another quick little look, so you can get an idea of the detail. It took a while to paint him, but I'm pretty happy with the results. Over here on his shoulders, I've magnetized these. These are just little things, stoppers to fill up that hole that's there. You can actually leave the hole, because if you look in more closely, let's see if I can get in there. I've painted that little area there. Oh, it's not zooming. There it is. So it doesn't look too bad from on top, although, I still like to put these in just to cover up when I'm not using his shoulder guns, because I have magnetized his shoulder guns as well. So let me get this. There we go. Let's take a look at what he looks like with some of the other weapon loadouts. Here we go. The one I've been using the most so far, which is the 2 Wraith Cannons. Can't complain. 2 big guns, powerful enough to kill any target in the game, including Armor 14. Cannot complain about those guns, and you know, makes them pretty cheap as well. There we go. That's what it looks like with his guns. I can raise them up if he's facing a lot of weird flyers or something like that. If he's facing other big walkers and other knights and things. Otherwise, you can aim them down towards you know, enemy models. That's what he looks like right there. Let's give it a little bit of a turnaround with his guns. Tried to give him kind of like a leaning back, victorious-looking pose, like he's just crushed this this, you know, dreadnought underneath his feet, and now is kind of like ready for the next opponent. So hopefully that effect comes across. Shoulder weapons also have been magnetized, like I mentioned. And one little trick I'll tell you is that I didn't magnetize the actual endings of these guns, because you can actually remove them very easily. You can, well, this is not going to look as easy, but you pop them out, and you just pop another one in. It's going to be hard to do when I'm holding the camera, but, you know, just pop that right in, and in it goes. You know, save your magnets, man. There's no need for magnets for these ones. They pop in really snugly. In fact, they're so snug I have to kind of... There we go. And another place that I've saved a magnet is on this gun. I actually haven't magnetized it, so I'm going to take his arm off. This is the Wraithknight. Over here is the point where it slips in. And again, this as well, I'm going to pull it out right now. This as well is kind of one of these joints. Let me zoom in a little closer there. It just looks like that. You could put a magnet if you really want to, but I thought it was a waste of a magnet because it fits very snugly when you just kind of slip it in. Sorry, this is off camera because I don't have 3 arms, but you just slip it in there, into that little point, and it comes across pretty, or fits in there pretty easily. Pretty easy stuff. This is, of course, the Suncannon. You know, you got that Suncannon rocking over there, so you got the Suncannon and shield combo if you need to. I haven't had a chance to play test this one out yet, but I suspect it's going to be pretty spectacular. Suncannon, shield, scatter laser, nothing wrong with that. When you stand this thing up, I mean, look at that guy. He's just a thug. Look at this dude. So, yeah, ready for action, ready for the table. No more humiliating battle reports where I have unpainted models in my army. Although I'm sure that it'll continue at some point because I'm running out of time these days to actually paint things. But, yeah, there he is. If you have any questions, send me a private message or put me a little comment below if you have any questions about any of the ways I painted him. He is finished with a matte varnish. I used Army Painter Anti-Shine, and I did 2 layers. I hope the 2 layers is going to be enough. Nice thing about the Anti-Shine, though, is it's not super matte-y. It's not super matte. Like, you know, I've seen some matte sprays that literally just turn your model into something that looks like it's full of, you know, like just potholes and things on it, and just looks really milky and terrible. I had the problem of doing that to my my first unit of warp spiders. They look really, really grainy and matty. But the Army Painter matte varnish is actually really solid, I gotta say. Like, he still looks nice and kind of gleaming, just not overly shiny, at least in my view. So, yeah, that's a little tip for you there if you're interested in trying some of that stuff out. But that is him. That's my bad boy. Gonna try to put him in some battle reports soon, and keep watching, guys.